Alrighty guys, this is continuation for page 1, number 11 through 14. You are going to be solving quadratic equations by using a square root, okay, by square roots. Alright, remember what I said, that your y is 0 because that's where you cross the y-axis. It is always going to be x where your y is 0 because that's what roots are. Those are your zeros. Alright, do not be scared of fractions. Here we go. First off, I'm going to subtract 25 over 8, okay, on both sides. That gives you negative 25 over 8 is equal to negative 1 over 2, x minus 1/2 squared. Okay. Next step, if you notice, this is dividing by 2, okay? What's the opposite of dividing by 2? Be multiplying by 2. Now, instead of multiplying by 2, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this negative, so I'm going to multiply by negative 2, just like that. And when you do that, you get rid of this. So now you have negative 2 times negative 25, which is 50 over 8, okay? See that right there? Which is equal to x minus 1/2 squared. And 2050 over 8 is the same thing as 25 over 4. Okay, I'm going to simplify it so I can make my number smaller. Alright, now how do you get rid of the square? Let me rewrite it so you can see it better. 25 over 4 is x minus 1/2 squared. So, how do you get rid of the square? You take a square root. And when you take a square root, remember you have two solutions. So now you have plus or minus square root of 25 over 4, which is x minus 1/2. Okay? I'm going to continue up here. Okay. What's the square root of 25? 5. So plus or minus 5. Square root of 4, 2. So 5 over 2 is equal to x minus 1/2. How do you solve? Add 1/2 to both sides. What you do to one, you do to the other. So x is equal to plus or minus 5 over 2 plus 1/2. Okay? Now guys, do not leave your answers like this. You did that in your homework. These are numbers. You have to simplify them. You can combine these. Alright, so the first one, let's do the plus. 5 plus 1 over 2. See how they have the common denominator? So x is equal to 5 plus 1 over 2, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. Okay? Next one, it's a negative. So, there's your first, here's your second. Negative 5 plus 1 over 2. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4 over 2, which simplifies to negative 2. And there's your number 11. Do not be scared of fractions. It's just a division, okay? All right, number 12. Make that your 0. Now I'm going to rewrite it, okay? I'm going to subtract 7, 8 from both sides. What you do to one, you do to the other. So you have negative 7 over 8 is equal to 1/2 times x plus 9 over 2 squared. Divided by 2, opposite of that is multiplied by 2. Okay, so you get rid of that. So that gives you negative 14 over 8 is equal to x plus 9 over 2 squared. Alright, let's go ahead and simplify this first. What is negative 14 over 8 the same as? Negative 7 over 4, which is equal to x plus 9 over 2 squared. How do you get rid of a square? You take a square root. See that right there? And when you do, you always have a plus or a minus. Now notice this is a negative. I'm going to go ahead and bring that out as an I. So plus or minus I. Square root of 7 and a square root of 4 is 2 equals x plus 9 over 2. How do you get rid of solving for x? What do you do next? Well, you're going to subtract 9 over 2. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Okay? So, let's continue up here so I have more room. So now you have negative 9 over 2 plus or minus I square root of 7 over 2 is equal to x. You can leave your answer like that because you can't really combine them, or you can rewrite your answers like this. Negative 9 plus or minus I square root of 7. See how they have a common denominator? They both have a 2. All of that divided by 2. This is an acceptable answer. This is a prettier acceptable answer. Okay? Keep in mind there's 2. Don't forget your plus or your minus, or you only get half credit. And there's number 12. Number 13. Alrighty? F of x. That just tells you it's a function. I'm going to make that a 0. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So now you have 4 is equal to 2/3 times x plus 5 over 3 squared. Do not be scared of fractions. Okay? Let's get rid of this fraction. Opposite of divided by 3 is times it by 3. So now you have 12 equals 2 times x plus 5 over 3 squared. Do not distribute that 2. You have a square there. Can't do that yet. Okay? So how do you get rid of that 2? Well, this is 2 times something. What's opposite of 2 times? Divide. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Cancel. So 6 is equal to x plus 5 over 3 squared. Now you can get rid of that square. And how do you get rid of the square? You take a square root. Okay? What you do to one side, you do to the other side. So now you have plus or minus square root of 6 is equal to x plus 5 over 3. How do you get rid of that? You subtract. And when you subtract 5 over 3, okay, your final answer comes out to be negative 5 over 3 plus or minus square root of 6 is equal to x. Really can't do anything else with it, so just leave your answer like that. But if you want to combine them, you would divide this by 3, and that would give you negative 5 over 3 plus or minus 3 square root of 6. That's not what I meant to write. Hang on just a moment. Let me write it correct the way I wanted to write it. Okay. I wanted to write it as a common denominator, so hang on just. 5 over 3 plus or minus square root of negative 5 plus or minus 3 square root of 6, all of that over 3 equals x. So if you wanted a common denominator, this is how you would write it. Because if you take a look, I still have negative 5 over 3. 3 over 3 is 1. Okay? There you go. Number 14. Function is 0. Y equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 9 over 2. So negative 9 over 32 is equal to negative 3 over 8 times x minus 7 squared. Right? Let's get rid of that fraction on the right. Opposite of divided by 3 is times it by 3. I'm sorry, divide by 8, times it by 8. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that negative. Okay? So, negative 8 times negative 9 is 72 over 32 equals 3 times x minus 7 squared. By the way, I could have taken care of that at the same time, but I'm going to keep doing the steps that I've been showing you guys. Okay? And what is 72 divided by 32 leaves you 9 over 4 equals 3 times x minus 7 squared. Do not distribute that 3. Okay? So, what is opposite of 3 times something? Well, you divide. So, divide both sides by 3. That's the same thing as 3 over 1, and I'm going to show you what to do with that in just a little bit. Okay? So now let me rewrite it. So I have 9 over 4. Now, do you see how this is divided by? You need to take a reciprocal of that. Okay? 3 over 1 is the same thing as multiply 1 over 3. It's the same thing. Equal x minus 7 squared. Okay? Next part, go ahead and multiply. 9 times 1 is 9. Let's continue up here. 4 times 3 is 12 equals x minus 7 squared. Let's go ahead and simplify that. 9 over 12 is the same as 3/4 equals x minus 7 squared. How do you get rid of that square? You take a square root, and when you take a square root, you have a plus or minus, okay? So now you have plus or minus square root of 3, square root of 4 is 2, equals x minus 7. Add 7 to both sides. So now you have 7 plus or minus square root of 3 over 2 is equal to x. Oops, excuse me. There's your solution for number 14. Alright, now I want to show you guys something that you could have done instead of taking this long route. When you are right here, this is something that you could have done, okay? So let me rewrite this real quick. You had negative 9 over 32 is equal to negative 3 over 8 times x minus 7 squared. All right, if you know your inverses and you know reciprocals, then this would work. Okay, now, this is negative 3 over 8 times something. What is opposite of that? Well, that's division. And if you divide, you have negative 9 over 32 divided by negative 3 over 8 equals x minus 7 squared, okay? So, if you could go back to elementary school, remember guys how you used to divide fractions? You would take the reciprocal. You would flip that over. Because what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So you could have wrote this as negative 9 over 32 times negative 8 over 3 is equal to x minus 7 squared. You could have gone from this step and went ahead and gone to this step right here. So that is something that you could possibly do as well. Another thing that you can do is you could also simplify. Negative 9 and 3 gives you negative 3, and that became a 1. 8 goes into 32. That leaves you negative 1, and this leaves you 4. See how I simplify that? So now you have negative 3 times negative 1 over 4 times 1 equals x minus 7 squared. Just like that, okay? And this would have probably made your math a little easier. Did you see how we just got it to right here? This one right here, when you do it this way, okay? This could have saved you a few steps. But if you forget that, just kind of follow the rules that you have learned all along, okay? Alrighty, so that's number 14. Do not be scared of fractions, it's just a division. Okay, on number 15, it says solve each equation by completing the square. Now, let me refresh your memory on completing the square, okay? You want ax squared plus bx plus a blank equals c plus a blank. Don't forget that part. All right, here we go. So you want your c to be on the other side. So let's look at number 20. Notice this is a, b, c. 20 is over here, so let's move it over. So I'm going to add 20. Okay? Now let's rewrite it. A squared minus 8a plus a blank equals 20 plus a blank. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Okay? Take the b, half it. So what is negative 8 divided by 2? That leaves you 4. Oops. Should be 8. Divided by 2, that leaves you 4. And then you're going to square. So this is 4 squared. 4 squared is the same as 16. Okay? Whatever this sign is, make sure you bring it down with you. So now I'm going to rewrite it to make it look like squares. So you have a minus 4 squared is equal to 36. Continue solving. How do you solve for that? How do you get rid of the square? You take a square root. What you do to one side, you do to the other. And when you do square root, you have two solutions. So a minus 4 is equal to plus or minus 36, which is plus or minus 6. Okay? Now I'm going to set it separately. So I'm going to have a minus 4 is equal to 6. There's your first one. And the other one is going to be a minus 4 equals negative 6. Solve for both. Add 4 to both sides, so a is equal to 10. Add 4 to both sides, so a is equal to negative 2. It's a square. You should always have two answers. Okay. 16. Completing the square. You might have been able to factor, but that's not what it's telling you to do. It says to complete the square. All right, so I'm going to move 24 over. So I got v squared plus 2v plus a blank is equal to 24 plus a blank. So 2 divided by 2 leaves you 1. So 1 squared is the same as 1. Rewrite it. V, see how that's a plus? Plus 1 squared is equal to 25. Take a square root. Okay? And when you take a square root, you get two answers. So v plus 1 is equal to 5, and the other one is v plus 1 equals to negative 5. Subtract 1 to this side, so v is equal to 4. Subtract 1, v is equal to negative 6. Okay. Number 17. Alrighty, let's look at 17. I have some like terms, so let's move the 5 over. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So now you have n squared minus 8n plus a blank is equal to 9 plus a blank. Okay? Half of 8 leaves you 4 squared. 4 squared is the same thing as 16. Let's rewrite it. N minus 4 squared is equal to 25. Take a square root. And when you take a square root, square root of 25 is 5, so n minus 4 equals 5. N minus 4 equals negative 5. Add 4 to this side, so you have n is equal to 9. Add 4 to that side, n is equal to negative 1. And that was a long bell. Number 18. Here we go. All right, let's combine some like terms first. I like to keep my a value positive, so I'm actually going to move this 4 over. So plus 4b squared plus 4b squared. Okay? And let's rewrite it in the right order first before I start moving things around. So negative 3b squared plus 4b squared is b squared. Go ahead and move this over. Plus 8b plus 12 is equal to 0. A squared plus b squared equals c. Now I'm going to subtract 12. So you got b squared plus 8b plus a blank is equal to negative 12 plus a blank. Okay? Let's rewrite it. Half of 8 is 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. So b plus 4 squared is equal to 4. Let's get rid of your square. Take a square root. And when you take a square root, you always have two answers. So you got b plus 4 equals 2, and b plus 4 equals negative 2. Subtract 4 on both sides. Subtract 4 on both sides. So you got b equals negative 2, and b equals negative 6. Good luck on your test, guys. Hope you have a great day.